Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are here to talk about masturbation today. What a great conversation topic for a Sunday afternoon. It's crazy. So here we are. It's a little bit of a strange thing. Not prepared for this at all, but why don't we have a little chat about some things that make us feel good or feel appropriate or just anything that makes us feel a bit fun when it comes to masturbation. Michelle, the other day we were having a quick chat about a few other things on Zoom or actually it was on WhatsApp, right? And I think, you said something to me that I was just like, well, yeah. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people think about. The fact that it's very, very healthy. Kind of do this for yourself, a masturbation, to kind of treat yourself, especially when, let's face it, we're all in a situation right now that isn't exactly uplifting.
So talking about it being healthy, you've got all those amazing chemicals firing off in your body, haven't you? And so they're making you feel really good, really excited. And it's just that good feeling. And I think there's so much that goes before that, isn't there? Our culture and so much that gets in the way of it. But actually, if we just let ourselves be and we relax into it, it's so beautiful. It's so easy.
The thing that people talk about in a very domestic kind of way, a very sort of, family friendly almost kind of way to talk about this is, it's the release of endorphins. Is that actually true?
I think it is true. It definitely helps. You're happy. They're called happy hormones for a reason. So definitely, you're happy. Definitely, there is release of endorphins, makes everybody enjoy the moment. And it's like I say, be independent. Enjoy yourself. Be yourself. Masturbation's not a taboo. That's all I'd like to say. And I think that should resonate with a lot of people. As you said, it's a difficult time, and it does not always have to be all sad. Happy hormones are there to help.
That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that no, you're not going to hurt yourself. And if you hurt yourself, if you're in pain, then it's a sign that you should stop.
Yeah, I think Martha makes a good point. No, Martha makes a very good point. There's a lot of stigmatism and religious stigmas and all sorts of stuff, which is it's just not true. It's you can't avoid masturbating when you're growing up and getting. It's not something you can avoid doing. And anyone that says no, they don't, it's simply not true. It's one of those things that you remember when you're growing up and you're thinking, oh my God, I don't know if anybody else is doing it. Nobody talks about it, and you're growing up as a kid and you're kind of wondering, well, is this normal? Is it not? And nobody tells you, nobody talks about it. Yeah. And actually, it has a biological basis and need, and you can't avoid it. It's one of those things.
It's
so
still really
get it out there, and if it needs to be done, it needs to be done.
It's still taboo thing.
There's a couple of I remember Professor Alan Riley talking about what makes a healthy vagina, and he always said that a healthy vagina is a well-used one.
Ooh.
Well, it causes any machine.
You don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly, Martha.
Yeah, you need the blood flow.
Also, the shame around masturbation, because it is something that we do privately, quickly. Generally, we do it quickly in case we get caught, and we do it secretly. And so there is that shame, and so it's good what you just said, that we do wonder, am I the only one feeling this way? Am I the only one masturbating so often? And things change in our body as we get older. Perhaps when we are younger and all these hormones are raging in our bodies, yes, it can feel like it's out of control, whatever, but really, what does out of control mean? I feel that we go through phases in our lives when we're busy, and then our energies are just channeled elsewhere. But when we are at a good place, this is a great time actually to feel alive. And I always say that healthy people feel horny. It is the unhealthy people who can't.
Well, Angela, I tell you what, I mean, I know what my new pickup line is going to be. You sing the guy, I believe your vagina might be slightly underused from what I can see there.
But also, erections are good for erections.
All right. Yeah, we've talked about that before. Like, you say a little more about that, the people that haven't seen one of our other videos. What do you mean by that?
You need.
Well, it's just that if you're getting regular erections and you're using that erection and you're getting the blood flow and you're getting all those nice feelings and you're enjoying yourself, that boosts your confidence. It's also good for your health, and it makes you want to do it more often.
Is there any truth in, there's one thing I may have noticed in the past, is that sometimes if you do, if you masturbate more frequently, you build up your stamina. True or not? What do people think?
I think there's truth in that, Rob. I think there's truth in that. There's some good evidence that for prostate cancer, etc., that if you, statistically, if you frequently masturbate or ejaculate, whichever way it happens, but let's face it, not all of us have the opportunity to ejaculate via intercourse several times a week. Well, life gets in the way sometimes. So, but there's a real health benefit to it, and it's associated with lesser degree of prostate cancer. There is no negative benefit. There's no harm to masturbation unless it becomes something obsessive and compulsive. But apart from that, I don't think there's any health concern. And I believe in women there is a lesser frequency of some medical conditions as well with masturbation, to my knowledge.
It brings back one of the lines that Angela always uses, and she's used it in the video as well, that it's penile rehabilitation. So that's important for medical conditions, that's important for normal life, that's important.
And if you're spinally injured, really finding out about what masturbation means again, because often you might have masturbated in one particular way when you were an able-bodied human being, if you will, and then all of a sudden something changes, and sometimes there might be hypersensitivity that goes with that, sometimes there might be saddle numbness, so it's practicing a new normal. So if something doesn't feel the way it felt before, really looking at maybe nipple stimulation where the vagal nerve kicks in, and if you've got nipple stimulation, depending on the level of your injury, where your vagal nerve kicks in, and maybe experimenting to see if your vagal nerve touches your genital area to make you feel different things there. So it can be quite different when a spinal injury hits, or when neurological issues hit that cause lack of sensation or pain in those areas. And I think it's really important to think about, how do we make that adjustment and how do we change? And it's like everything in spinal cord injury, we talk about bowels and bladder every day, and we deal with bowels and bladder every day because we have to. We'll die if we don't. But actually what it is we need more practice. We need to keep practicing. We need to keep doing that. And you're in your spinal rehab centres, and there's no way you're allowed to keep practicing. You're going to have a nurse knocking on your curtains going, hey, what are you doing in there? So until you get home, it's really hard to actually really start to practice. And then when you've got a partner and they're really scared, it's like, how do I then practice? And then when you masturbate in the way that you used to and it doesn't work for you, then what do you do? And it's at that point where you've got to start asking those questions. It's really important. And I think the biggest thing that was amazing for me as a T12 injury was to learn through Barry Mustaruk, who's he's just stunning. He is a professor at university in New York, and literally he did fMRI scans on what the brain was doing through the vagal nerve, and it was just quite stunning. So touching the nipples was able to generate some sensation internally in sort of my genital area. And then when I've worked with clients in the same way and talked to them about it, and we've really pinned down what it is and what they feel, it's just that's like a revelation to people. It's like, oh my God, I can feel my genitals. And so it's finding out how to do it again, how to get that new way forward.
You're right, the masturbation aspect of this is relearning. It's reactivating and paying more attention to those pathways. I think that's a fantastic thing.
Yeah. So I think it's just important for everybody to understand that, as I said, be independent, love yourself, and learn to reconnect with your sexuality.
Play.
It's also important for partners to accept that. You know, if you're in this kind of condition, that you need to figure yourself out. It's an okay thing to do. You need to figure yourself out. You need to see how things work, what has changed, and perhaps have that openness to be able to talk about that.
And I suppose the thing is, masturbation doesn't have to be you by yourself. It can be with a partner. And actually, if you've rediscovered yourself in whatever way, and that's the whole thing about masturbation, it's body exploration and finding different areas that give you different pleasures at different intensities. But then the next stage is sharing that with somebody that you're in a sexual relationship with.
And looking at vibration and vibrating devices, often a lot of people will think, okay, well, I'll use a vibrator the way I used it before. And with spinal cord injury, if you use it the way you try and do that and use it the way you did it before, more often than not, that's not an amazing experience anymore. So it's about learning where to use that. So when I'm talking to my clients, a lot of people with a low-level injury or cord recliner will often use their vibrating device, and we talk about putting it on their tummy, so the vibration goes through, as opposed to putting it directly on the clitoris, which they might not feel. Putting it on, sorry, I'm talking specifically about women at the moment, but putting it on the inside of the thigh for some women with cord recliner, so the vibration becomes a different thing. And I think that's really important, because so many people go back to trying masturbation the way they did it before with their vibrating device. And so I think it's really important just to try different areas.
And I think that's all the bit about experimenting and feeling able and having the permission to experiment with different sensations. That's so important, because I think even if somebody hasn't had a spinal cord injury, they still have this perception that they just get a vibrator and they just, you know, put it directly on the clitoris and it's going to have a fantastic feeling, when actually you have to learn about your own body. So not only do you have to learn about your own body, if you have a spinal cord injury, you have to relearn.
I just think it helps being close within a relationship and kind of reconnecting. I think it really does help, and it does lift the mood, and it does bring out all the happy hormones. It's brilliant. So I recommend it.
Well, yeah, that's at the bottom line, I guess, that at Sex in the Spine, we not only promote good sexual health, we also promote having fun. So it's important to have a healthy sexual life, and masturbation's not a taboo. Masturbation's not something that's going to take you to hell. Instead, it's something that helps you reconnect, and it's important that everybody tries and understands their body and feels good about themselves. They can do it alone, they can do it with their partners, whether able-bodied or not able-bodied. Masturbation should be and can be fun. I think that's what we all like to say. And yeah, this has been great.
Thank you. Really nice way to conclude the conversation. Perhaps we can do this again on similar subject matter. That feels like it could be a fairly natural thing to do. So thanks everybody for taking time on a Sunday to talk about something that is perhaps going to evaporate as taboo